We walked the shoreline of our doubts, waves rising like the voices of everything we feared. We cried out your name, but only the wind cried. And the sea kept tossing the fragments of our hope, like stones we could no longer hold. The horizon felt endless, and yet too small for prayer. We thought a miracle needed to be loud. We thought salvation had to make the sky break open. So we lifted our hands and trembling, searching for lightning, thunder, fire, something strong enough to drown our confusion. But all we found was silence so heavy, it pressed against our ribs like winter. Our knees buckled beneath it. We mistook the echo of our own fear for heaven's indifference. We believed silence was a locked door, and we were left outside with our pain. But the storm did not swallow us, the waves did not tear us apart. Somewhere beneath our panic, a gentler rhythm waited, breathing where our faith collapsed, holding where our courage failed. We did not hear words, but we felt a presence steady as an anchor, carrying us when we were sinking. You were not shouting from the sky, you were speaking beneath the storm. We searched the horizon for miracles, waiting for fire to fall, for signs carved in thunder. But you planted miracles in our feet, steps that remembered how to walk. Even when our hearts forgot their strength, we thought survival was luck, but it was grace wearing the clothes of daily life. Grace disguised as breath, as dawn, as the simple act of not giving up. We begged for signs in the sky, but you whispered through the rain as it slid across our shoulders, softening the sharpness of our fears. You shaped hope into small drops that kissed our cheeks in the wind. You did not give us answers like lightnings, you gave us patience like morning, slow, steady, unstoppable. A sunrise that refuses to be rushed. We learned that faith is not the roar in our lungs, but the warmth that remains even after every prayer feels empty. We learned that brokenness is not abandonment, it is the doorway where compassion enters, and the shelter where you sit beside us until our breathing becomes prayer again. Your presence wrapped us like a blanket over trembling shoulders. We were never alone, we just didn't know how to listen. You were not shouting from the sky, you were the voice beneath the storm. You were not thunder breaking clouds, you were mercy in the quiet form. You held us when our hope was gone, you carried us when we could not stand. Not above us, not beyond, but here beneath the storm. We once thought faith was screaming louder than our doubts, but now we see faith is the hand that trembles and still reaches upward. We once believed salvation was a spectacular rescue, but you walked beside us in the rain, letting our fears exhaust themselves until they had no power left. We once searched for you in the sky, but you waited patiently in the soil of our hearts, watering every seed we thought had died. We looked at our scars and called them failures, but you turned them into maps that guided us back to your peace. We cursed the storm for its cruelty, but you showed us how it carried lessons no calm could ever teach. We thought thunder meant presence, we thought quiet meant distance. But you were closest in the stillness we ignored, carving strength into the marrow of our doubt. You were not shouting from the sky, you were the voice beneath the storm. You were not thunder breaking clouds, you were mercy in the quiet form. You held us when our strength was gone, you lifted us with steady hands, not above us, not beyond, but here beneath the storm. We once asked for thunder, but you taught us how to hear peace. We once asked for lightning, but you opened our eyes to dawn. We once asked to be rescued, but you walked the water with us until we learned we would never drown. And your silence was not absence, it was the language of love unspoken. Your quiet was not distance, it was the arms that caught us when we could not stand on our own. You traced every trembling step, matching our pace when we could not run, slow in your stride when we could barely breathe. The storm roared, but it no longer owned us. The winds rose, but they could not scatter our hope. We learned to rest where trust was born. We learned to see your fingerprints on every unassuming moment. The friend who called the sunrise after sleepless nights, the tear that fell but didn't break us, the heart that chose to keep beating. We learned to love the quiet because the quiet held you.
You were not shouting from the sky, you were the voice beneath the storm. You were not thunder breaking clouds, you were mercy in the quiet form.
You held us when our hope was gone, you carried us with steady hands, not above us, not beyond.